Hello. Can anyone hear me? Hello. This is my first time talking on stream, I guess. Hello everyone. Glad you could join me. I just I was actually just recording for one of my next videos, and I just thought while I was recording for it, might as well stream this. I think that I was just kind of playing against this AI, and just commentating on it, and I thought, you know, maybe this would be interesting for people to watch, and just hit 20,000 subscribers. So thank you to everyone for that. But yeah, anyway, I will won't keep you waiting any longer, and yeah, I will load things up. So here we go. Hopefully we shouldn't be having any technical difficulties. But yeah, okay. Believe everything should be up and running. Can I make a chess engine that defeats Stockfish? Probably not on my own, or at least not without a crazy amount of compute power. Yeah, I put some really insane amounts into those things. But anyway, yeah, here we are. So this is my new AI. I haven't talked about this at all because the video isn't even out yet. But yeah, I thought I'd just show me playing against the AI. So this AI took about 6 days to train in total, on a desktop PC, that is, with using standard reinforcement learning, using just using images as the input to the AI. So all the AI is given, well, it's given a few little things, but mostly just given the images the same as a human would. And yeah, it was trained for about 6 days. It is indeed controlling all four of the AI, except one of them. Well, when it was training, it was all four of them was being used to train. However, right now, one of them I am playing as. I won't tell you just yet, but I'm curious if you can tell which one is the human and which one is the AI. But yeah, the AI is trained with items. It is trained with items, so it has. I don't know if you can see. I think there's a little. I think it's showing the. Oh, I just took my hat off. Oh, I think one of the windows isn't showing. So the AI has a few different actions it can use, and one of them is the item. So it is allowed to use items when it's playing. The way it's trained with them is it is rewarded for using items. In some of my past AIs, I've had some trouble with getting it to kind of use items effectively. This AI, where it was trained with different, it was trained AI versus AI, kind of in that style. So it was a lot better at using the items than, a lot of my other AIs. However, because it's rewarded for using the items, it tends to be kind of hyper aggressive with them, to say the least. Yeah, it will. If it has like a banana or whatever, it's throwing it straight at you. But yeah, yeah. But that is a reward given for using items. Oh, I managed to take down a Super AI. Super AI, by the way, is just Funky Kong but reskinned. Yeah, so that was from my video of Red Falcon. He thankfully gave me that one. Uh, yeah, we got some predictions for which one I am. You think I'm the bottom left, or you think I'm Dry Bowser? Do you? I'll leave it a little longer before I can confirm or deny anything. But yeah, I'd much rather be a Donkey Kong right now. But I'll safely assure you I did not win that race. Yeah. What RL algorithm did I use? Well, the algorithm that I used is currently isn't published. So for those of you who don't know, I don't think I've ever talked about this on my YouTube channel, but I'm actually a PhD student um, who just kind of does this in my spare time. Um, but the algorithms that I work on for my PhD are pretty much, this kind of thing. Um, so yeah, right. Basically, what was I saying? Sorry, I'm not used to concentrating and commentating at the same time. I find it very difficult. Um, but yeah, so during my PhD, I play around with a lot of RL algorithms, and I actually made a brand new RL algorithm with some improvements over kind of previous methods. I thought I might win that race. Um, but yeah, I made some improvements over a past one, and I'm actually looking to publish the algorithm soon. So I've submitted the algorithm, and hopefully it should be published soon. So the algorithm will be widely available. But as for what I can kind of tell you now, there's an algorithm called Rainbow DQN, which is a very popular algorithm in reinforcement learning, and this algorithm is basically quite a substantial improvement over Rainbow DQN. Oh, I tried to use that Mega Mushroom, but I didn't do it in time. Yeah. So yeah, you could. I'll let you know which AI which character I am playing as right now. So as it has been deduced in the chat, I am indeed playing as Dry Bowser, on the bottom left. But yeah. Maybe doing the shortcut gave that one away. The AI, they do. Oh, I was about to take the shortcut there and just got shocked. Yeah, so the AI does take quite a lot of. It does a few of the off-road shortcuts, but it doesn't tend to do the through the through the gap in the wall. That's a brilliant start right there. Um, yeah, it doesn't tend to go through the gap in the wall. It just. I guess that's a very difficult thing to kind of do by accident. So obviously, oh, this is a disaster. Yeah, I guess the way these algorithms learn is just by kind of trying random things and seeing what works. So, for an agent to kind of randomly, just randomly do things and then go through a random gap in the wall is a pretty rare occurrence. So I guess that's why it struggles. Yeah. Yeah, so some of the off-road ones, I guess you can kind of see why you'd do that by accident. But as for the guy like going through the hole in the wall, that's a little more difficult. So this AI, all of my previous AIs have been image only, so they've just used the image. But this one did use some memory values. So the main reason I gave it access to some of the memory values was like it has access to like its drift, so it knows if it's in a drift or not. Because it was kind of difficult for it to tell otherwise, kind of due to how the images work. So I give it the previous 4 frames of the game, but it still can sometimes be difficult when you just start a drift and to know which way you're drifting and things like that. So I kind of told it, which way it's drifting. That was rude, Rosalina. Um, but yeah, I gave it a little bit of other information. Like I gave it its progress through the mini turbo, because that's another thing you can't really tell from 4 frames. So it can tell how long it's been drifting and how close it is to actually getting the mini turbo. So the way that kind of works, I'm gonna get thunderclouded. The way that kind of works in Mario Kart is you have a a mini turbo kind of counter, and it as you drift, it goes up to 270, and once you reach 270, you can get a mini turbo. But the AI didn't really have a way of knowing how long it had been drifting from just 4 frames, so it kind of would struggle. So I gave it just that and a couple of other things. I'm struggling here. I haven't been able to get a win. But yeah, it's been difficult. Yeah, I think holding shells and bananas behind them is one of the things that is something that I really did want to include. It's just quite difficult in terms of the action space. So, I need to just give it 2 separate actions. So one for kind of using items and another one for holding them. Because on my previous one, on some of my previous AIs, I did allow it to hold to hold items. But the way it worked is I basically had the item button be a toggle essentially. But that was kind of bad because means that I just got hit by a fib. Yeah, it's kind of bad because it means that if you've got an item like a golden mushroom, if the item button is a toggle, it's not quite what you'd hope for. Okay, we got third. That's not too bad. Still not able to. Yeah, look at that. I have not tried any behavioral cloning techniques. For RL. I know a little bit about them. However, I don't know. I was never really too interested in the imitation. What I was always kind of hoping for is superhuman performance. That's not to say you can't do kind of a behavioral cloning into into some an RL approach. Like, for example, if any of you know about AlphaGo and about AlphaStar, which were RL algorithms to play Go and Starcraft 2 respectively, they did use kind of originally learned from human data and then kind of fine-tuned it with by letting it play by itself. But I'm gonna get third. Okay, third. But yeah, so while they're definitely possible to do that, I'm not sure it's necessary in Mario Kart per se. I think I'm able to kind of give it enough. Like, I mean, it was able to learn perfectly fine without any kind of behavioral cloning technique. So this AI, it was basically trained for 6 days. But in terms of how long it took before it could actually finish the race was crazy fast. So it was able to complete its first race after something like 4 hours of training. So it had absolutely no trouble with this learning how to finish a race. I think it was even less than 4 hours before it was first able to finish a race. So yeah, no trouble in that regard. But it's just the chaos that it struggles with learning more than anything. It's the items and finding yourself in some crazy scenario. I was able to get a win. It took a while. I don't know how long this stream has been going on, but we got a first win against the AI. I'm not sure what exactly enabled that, but able to get it eventually. What else? So, for this method of training, this doesn't use there's no population of methods, so of AIs. This is just a single AI. So, a lot of the algorithms you see people using, which have kind of a whole population of agents, they're typically genetic algorithms. So it's where you kind of have this whole a whole bunch of different AI, and then you can kind of choose the best ones and move those ones, kind of mutate them and do things and then kill off the bad ones. But with RL, you tend to just have one agent and let just one agent learn, and that tends to go alright. It's not to say that you can't use a whole population. In fact, you probably if you use a whole population of RL agents, you'll probably get better performance. But it's just RL agents are very computationally costly to run. Like on a desktop PC, like I can only run one RL agent, and I have a pretty high spec desktop PC. But if you're like Google or Facebook or whatever, then you can afford to make a whole massively parallelized system and train AIs in that kind of way. But yeah, for my YouTube work at least, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a population of AI until I get a server or something. Until I get a whole server farm of compute. This game is going very poorly. I am in 12th, about to go into lab 3. I did not make the skin for the character, by the way. That was I believe it was one of Red Falcon's editors when I did the video with him. He made it for me, which I'm very grateful for because I think it looks really cool. Really embodies the spirit of the AI. Hey, we got third. Yeah, so I guess technically the other AIs are at a disadvantage. So by having a slightly, different character stats, um, but I think it's relatively, they're not. I don't know. In this case, for like time trials, obviously it's going to make a big difference. But I think in this case, it's probably not going to make or break the performance. Like even if you go into like online worldwides and you're playing, as a different character, you're still going to be able to do all right. But I could have potentially had them all play as the same character. I know that in like Mario Kart split screen there is that to call it a bug, but you can make all of the characters play as all of the people play as the same character. So I guess I could have done that if I wanted to. But I thought it was kind of interesting that AI kind of has to learn how to use the different characters. So because it was training from all four screens, so it was training including Dry Bowser when I did this. So yeah, it had to learn to play with all four characters at once, and it kind of couldn't, it couldn't learn any. I don't think there are any strategies which are completely dependent on which character you're using, but yeah, it couldn't learn anything like that if it did. Maybe let's get into first here. Okay, I got hit by a power, but landed on the boost panel. Okay, we're doing all right here. What do I think about liquid neural nets? I'm unfamiliar with liquid neural nets, truth be told. I haven't seen them used in... So my work is pretty focused on reinforcement learning specifically, so... whilst a while back, if being in machine learning as a whole, you'd kind of have an idea of all these things. Field of AI has gotten really broad recently, with different kind of subfields massively branching out. So it's very hard to stay on top of techniques for the entirety of AI. But, I still know about most of... Oh, I managed to get first. I didn't even realize for a second. I just kind of shroomed through and... yeah, I was able to get the old lap 3 comeback, really. Would it be possible to implement the holding function? Yeah, potentially, just for bananas and green shells. So if I was to trace the memory values for bananas, for when it had a banana and green shell specifically, I could make it so it holds the items in those cases. So that is definitely possible. But there's a few reasons why I haven't done it. One of the reasons is pure laziness, especially in this situation where I've got 4 AIs playing at once. I have to trace the memory values for all 4 of the AIs, and they do take a while to trace the memory values. I really thought with that bullet I was going to be able to maybe grab a win here, but the super AI Funky Kong is miles ahead. Yeah. But yeah, so one way to do it is to trace it via the memory values and have it use items that way. But yeah, has a few... It will take a while for a start. But also, I'd really rather have the AI kind of learn when it wants to hold it, because, I'd rather it be able to use the items kind of dynamically, I guess. Like, not hold it or hold it based on what it wants to do. But I just need to be a bit smarter about how I handle implementing the actions, really, I guess. And that would probably be the way to do it. Yeah. I'd also really love to do one thing that I'm hoping to look into soon is using recurrent neural networks. So at the moment, AI is just given the previous 4 images, but I'd love to use like a recurrent net where the AI would have be able to use the whole history, and it would have basically an unlimited memory. But yeah, so it's something I want to look into doing soon, although it is a bit more computationally heavy. Hello. That's true. So that is another thing I thought of when making this. Blocking items is something which is obviously like crazy beneficial to do, but it's you don't really get any reward for blocking an item. You just get the absence of a negative reward. So it does make it a lot harder for the AI to kind of learn. So it's definitely something which making the reward function so that it blocks, when it blocks it gets reward would be great. However, what am I doing? However, it's a little difficult. Like, I don't even think there's a memory value which, is going to show up and say, you blocked a thing. Um, yeah, I don't even think that exists, to be honest. So, it's a little tricky. I'm not really sure how I would do it. Like, yeah, but in theory, provided that it was implementable. Maybe that's good. No, Rosalina's way ahead. I'm not going to win here. Yeah, yeah. Potentially, I could give it a reward for hitting other players with an item because I believe the what's it called, the kind of player model, they do like a little celebration after they hit someone, so that indicates there probably is something in memory which kind of indicates when you hit another player with an item. So if I could find that, then potentially I could give it a reward for doing that. But yeah, that would be a difficult reward to trace though from the memory tracing values. Well, whilst I've done a lot of tracing the Wii's memory, um, I'm no expert at it. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know how good other people are tracing it, but even if I am fairly good at it, I think it's just a difficult thing to do to find some very niche ones. Like finding things like the speed and how far through the track I am. I can do that like no problem. It doesn't take me long. But doing some of the more tricky and more niche things can be quite difficult to trace them. Do I think an AI could do an ultra shortcut? Maybe is the answer to that. If I gave it like it depends. Are we talking if I trained it specifically to do an ultra shortcut, or are we just talking stumble into it randomly? Because if I was training it specifically to do an ultra shortcut, then yeah, definitely. I don't think I'd have any trouble getting it to do an ultra shortcut. I mean, it has obviously much more fine-grained control than a human's going to have, and also I could make sure that the actions I give the AI is makes it possible. That slipstream really did not help. Yeah. But yeah, as well with finding an ultra shortcut. As for finding it kind of randomly, so not designing it to find it, it's I'd say it's unlikely just because of how kind of intricate some the ultra shortcuts tend to be. Like they tend to try doing some really weird stuff, like like driving up to like a random wall and using a mushroom. It's a pretty hard thing to do by accident, to say the least. But what you could do is kind of use like curriculum learning. So if if I like, rather than just spawning it at the start, if I make it spawn in front of the ultra shortcut, like with a mushroom or whatever is needed to do it, then yeah, potentially it could, it's got a much higher likelihood of stumbling into the shortcut if I kind of set it up to do it. That shortcut was going so well until I drove into a pipe. Um, so yeah, in that situation, there's probably some ways where I could get it to do the ultra shortcut, but yeah, just it would require a little bit of me giving it a bit of a helping hand. As for like, I saw you mentioned kind of curiosity-based things. While those techniques are definitely useful, they don't. They have a lot more negative sides than a lot of. I speak to a lot of people and they're like, "Oh, I'd love to do like curiosity-based learning, and the AI could learn anything." In my experience, they tend to not be as good as they don't quite live up to the hype, I think is the word I'm going for. Mainly because although they do work, they require a lot of time steps to use. So it's kind of like if you're like when you add like curiosity to the AI's reward function, you're effectively making the reward function like noisier. So it becomes harder to learn just from the reward function than just harder to learn from the reward function on its own. So it can actually slow down progress in a lot of cases, unless you've got a really stupid amount of computation on your hands. So for example, if I could run this on 1,000 desktop PCs all at once, or on like a supercomputer or something like that, then potentially, yeah, curiosity would almost certainly be a good thing. But that was not great. Um, but yeah, using curiosity in my situation where I've kind of got limited compute resources with a limited number of frames I can let the AI play. Like, while I can give it a lot, I give it around, in the 6 days it played around 200 million frames of Mario Kart Wii, um, across across all four players. Which, while it sounds like a lot, it's still not on the scale at which Curiosity tends to be used. Like, some of the research which has used Curiosity um, in the past, things like there was an agent called Never Give Up by the DeepMind team. Uh, like, that agent, for example, they trained it on, I believe it was either a billion or 10 billion frames. Like, whereas this is using 200 million, so it's like, yeah, it's just they tend to be effective when they've got a lot of frames. So it's yeah. Hmm. Do you know why they say curiosity killed the chatbot? I do not understand. Oh, you know what they say? Curiosity killed the chatbot. Eh. Yeah, but I'd like to play around with some curiosity based methods, but at the same time, I'm not sure how effective they would be. Potentially, there's a few ones like if I was going to use a curiosity based if I was going to use a curiosity based method, it would probably be random network distillation, uh, which is where you kind of just it's a fairly naive method, but it's not too hard to implement. But I actually did try and implement it before, but I didn't really see any good results with it, which was why I kind of stopped. I tried to use it for one of my new Super Mario Bros videos, um, but it just wasn't really needed, I guess. Like, it turns out just having a reward function tell you what to do is better than trying to learn by being curious, or at least is a lot faster. Um, yeah. Yeah, so I think curriculum learning to hold items. Sorry, I didn't see that. Is definitely a decent idea. So yeah, if I spawned it, made that AI, start in a state where it had an item and it could hold it and block an item, then yeah, it probably would learn pretty well. Damn, AI is top three. Um, yeah, so that's definitely one way to do it. Just requires me to set up a few more save states. So yeah, when I do these, I just kind of go and manually, save state. On this AI, you can see here, by the way, there's just one single start state, which is at the start of the race. There's no multiple of them. Yeah, they definitely give some benefits using multiple start states at once, and kind of varying between them. So it is a good thing to do, but yeah, it just takes a while. That mushroom was not great. Okay, how am I doing? I'm in 10th at the start of lap 3. The 3 AIs are in first, second, third, and miles ahead. I think I've won twice since we've been playing. I don't know how long I've been streaming for, but not a great success rate so far, to say the least. I think the AI is kind of putting me in my place. Yep, they've top 3'd again. I don't know how good you guys think I actually am at Mario Kart. I don't think I would compare much to the better players, like some of the streamers you see these days, like TWD98 and Mead and people like that. I'd love to do a video with them if they'd ever be interested in doing some verse AI stuff. Like when Red Falcon asked me if I wanted to do a video with him. I mean, I know he's not specifically like a Mario Kart Wii YouTuber, but even when he asked me to do it, I was kind of jumped at the opportunity. I was like, yeah, so cool. I hope the video was good and everyone enjoyed it. But yeah, I would love to get some other people to do it as well. Could an RNN be used to predict the market? Yes, it's been done many times. In fact, there are many companies which make entirely based around predicting price of stocks using different AI methods. It's not easy to do, but it is definitely possible. If you just joined now, can you figure out who the AI is? I think it's a little fun game to play. See if you can know which one the human is. I think it's mostly, for a while of playing, you can see partially from the actions that we take. So I'm using like a standard like Switch controller, whereas the AIs have like a predefined action set. Yeah, I don't know if that's showing up at the moment. The actions. I will put it on after this race, which is going to be, I'm going to do it now because I don't want to finish this race because this is going terribly. But yeah. Okay, there we go. You guys can see that, right? I now have the actions being shown for what's it called? I have the actions being shown for the top left AI. So the one being controlled by Funky Kong, masked as a super AI. Yeah, you can see the actions the AI has access to. So it's 8 actions. A variety of drifting, wheeling, turning in wheelies, and yeah. But yeah, you can see how much reward it thinks it's going to get off of each of those. So yeah. Bomb. So I didn't teach the AI to dodge pals specifically, but it does tend to learn to. So kind of. So in a lot of my videos, people have been like really surprised to be like, "Oh wow, it learned to dodge pals." However, it's not so much it learns to dodge pals. A lot of the time, well, it does learn to dodge pals, but it just learns it by accident because in Mario Kart Wii, the control for the way you dodge a pal is just by holding it's the same button as the wheelie button, right? It's just the up on the D-pad if you're using like a classic controller. So a lot of the time, if you're just driving in a straight line and you're wheeling, and then a POW comes on, you're going to just dodge the POW by accident. So the AI does learn to dodge the POW. Yeah. So sometimes they still don't. For example, if there's like if they're going around a corner and they think that, it's more important to, maybe it's better to get hit by the POW and not, drive off-road. It's hard to see. I haven't seen too many examples of where the AI has kind of thoughtfully chosen to dodge a POW or not. But yeah, I'm in first. I might be able to get another win here. I'm not completely sure. I drove off road. I'm throwing. Okay, I'm gonna get second. Do I think the AI will get a world record? I'm hoping to on a time trial. That's been kind of been a goal of mine since I started this. Like when I was younger, although I did play a lot of like this, back when the Wii servers were online. I know we have Wimify and stuff now, which is like great, but yeah, especially back before the servers went down, I used to play a ton of like online. But more than online, I mostly played time trials, and I just loved like time trialing for times on different tracks. So I have just hit 2 bananas. That's class by me. But but yeah, I'd love to try and get an AI to take a world record for for a time trial. It's something I want to do. Picking the track would be a huge part of it. So yeah, and there's a lot of kind of the world records are really insane for like Mario Kart. Like the amount of we got first place, not by much, but we got it. Yeah, but getting a world record would be awesome. But the world records are really insane and require a lot of like low level knowledge of Mario Kart. So like even designing the action space like would have to probably be done differently in order to enable it to get as fine-tuned control. And using the mushrooms as well would be really difficult because, if I reward the AI for going forward and it has 3 mushrooms, it's likely to just use them all at once. Whereas obviously a world record is not gonna use all of the mushrooms at once because it's gonna save them for like a shortcut or something like that. So there'd be a lot of challenges to do it, but it is something I'm looking into, and I have actually talked to a few like TASs, like tool assisted speedrunners, and potentially looked at doing it, but yeah, it's very challenging to say the least. But it's something that I want to have a go at doing a time trial, because I haven't done an AI time trial in a really long time now. Mostly just because I've been focusing on doing the kind of AI racing against other AIs, or just racing with items and stuff like that. But I'd love to see, since I was doing those videos, just AI playing by itself, the algorithm I'm using has gotten so much better, and the setup I'm using has just gotten a lot faster, so I can train it for more frames now. So it should be able to do a lot better than my previous videos on a time trial. But will it get a world record? I don't know. It would take a lot of effort. It wouldn't be like I just throw it on a track in its current state and then it would just whip out a world record. I think if it, in its current state, like if I got this AI and I was just like, go play, this track, go play time trials for like a week and see how it does, I think it would get a very respectable score, but I don't think it would get a world record. Like, I think it would get to the point of being able to beat like 99% of players, but not the world record, just because the world records are so like, it's just that low level knowledge is crazy difficult to kind of understand. But I definitely think that it is possible with a little bit of with a lot of work on my part. I think I dream that it's possible, and it's a dream I won't be giving up on anytime soon. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Also, if you're wondering with regards to what CC and difficulty the CPUs, this is 150cc and the CPUs are on hard, so AI is not getting any cheats, to say the least. This is full Mario Kart. Yeah. Thank you for the sub. It's always great to see people liking the content. Yeah, I always find the posting videos like difficult in the editing and all that kind of thing. So I'm a research engineer. Like I'm not I don't see myself as like a YouTuber by any means. But yeah, just posting videos and finding videos that people actually find entertaining, because it's one thing to make an AI which can get a world record or play really well. It's another thing to kind of make it in the content in an interesting way. I'm very grateful to my editor for obviously giving me a huge amount of help, and it allows me to kind of spend more time making AI rather than editing them, because back when I kind of started my channel, I was just editing the videos by myself. And in between studying and working, doing YouTube as well and editing my videos was kind of ended me up being crazy busy. So yeah, that's pretty challenging. So yeah, having an editor has taken a ton of strain off of me in that regard. I just drove off road because I was looking at chat. Was wondering if I saw the Trackmania AI videos. I have seen the Trackmania AI videos, and I've actually talked to a few the people who made the videos. Yeah, I've spoken to them quite a bit about the methods they use. Yeah, the Trackmania AI was quite different because I mean the main difference is that in Trackmania, it's kind of possible to get the AI to learn from not using images. So they, in that video, they got the AI to learn using just like effectively memory values, and they was able to get it to learn to do, to do that. And that, that was absolutely amazing. I thought the videos were incredibly like well made, and I thought it was really impressive. I just don't know if it's really possible with Mario Kart Wii. Especially like maybe for time trials it's a little more possible. But like for doing this, I don't think you've got a chance of doing it. Like the number of like the size of the input you would need would be absolutely huge. And it's like a lot of people might say, like, oh, just read the memory for the game and give the AI the memory. Um, and while in theory it sounds nice, the Wii's memory, while not huge by today's standards, is still like, I think it's like 96 megabytes or something. It's like, which, yeah, by today's standard is tiny for like RAM. But that's like 96 million bytes. And I can't give my AI 96 million values. And even if I try and use some techniques to kind of reduce it down, um, it's still very difficult to get it to be small enough to the point where it can actually perform. So ideally, like, I'd want to kind of reduce the input size down to maybe like 500, or maybe 500 numbers which describe what's going on. But I guess the real question is, is that even possible? Like, for this task, could I give that AI 500 numbers which describe what's going on? Um, and my kind of thought on that has kind of been probably not. Um, like in Trackmania, they have especially if you're playing solo, that takes a lot of the kind of variance out of the problem. Um, but also, things like items on the ground, and just all of the kind of chaos is particularly difficult. Um, yeah. Do I think we'll have AGI before the end of 2025? Maybe. If you asked me a year ago, I'd be like, no. But honestly, the speed of AI's like development in the past couple of years is pretty terrifying. Like just being in the field myself and seeing how quickly progress is happening is like, it's pretty staggering. Like I generally think that, I think they're saying like, do we have AGI is a really difficult, kind of an impossible question to answer because people have so many definitions of what AGI is. Um, People have definitions of what AI is. Like I've had like millions of comments, or not millions, but a lot of comments on my videos saying like, oh, this isn't just, what you're doing isn't AI. It's, it's not for reason X, Y, Z. Um, but yeah, I mean, I personally think it at least counts as AI. Um, but as for, an AI which can perform a wide range of tasks at, the level of a human, I'd argue we're pretty close to that already. Like, ChatGPT 4.0 is knows more about most things than I can. Um, so I'd say I don't know if it's AI. I don't know what AGI. I just don't know how to define AGI. Um, so yeah, difficult question to answer. But I think that progress is just so fast that I think we're going to have serious problems definitely within the next 2 years with AI. I think that AI safety is going to become a much more important field than, I mean, a lot of people know it's an important field now, but there's still a limited amount of work being done on it. But I think it's going to be one of the biggest problems very soon. Like, I was a skeptic, to say the least. Like I said, like a year ago, I was like pretty non-bothered by AI safety, but given the rate of progress, I think that it's concerning. I'd say if you're interested in AI safety, check out a YouTube channel called Robert Miles AI Safety. He does a really excellent job of explaining some of the concepts in AI safety, and I really love his videos. He posted recently for the first time in a while, but his videos are absolutely great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was looking at the chat. I'm gonna read the chat for a second. That's why I'm doing badly. It's a project called Lineside, which is a Trackmania of 10 very luxurious world records. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to do some more stuff with going for world records, and there's probably a lot I can learn from the Trackmania AIs. But yeah. I'm glad someone else enjoys the Robert Mile videos. They are top quality. Like generally, one of the best channels I've seen. Do you think reinforcement learning can be transferred to real life applications like driving race cars, which we see and how that apply to other sentences? I mean, reinforcement learning I definitely think can be applied to it. It's been applied to robotics quite a few times already, I believe. Um, so maybe not self-driving cars just yet, but I think that soon. Yeah, I definitely I don't see that there's a reason why it can't be applied to it. I think that more than anything, the problems tend to be more in ethics and policy and things like that. I think that soon if a team like Google DeepMind or something, if they put their mind towards making a self-driving car, I think it could be done. But whether that that's only half the story as to whether we can do it. Like, do people trust it? Do people trust being on the road with a self-driving car? And yeah, it's just a lot more than just the performance aspect of it. Yeah. 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 Just reading a comment about the impact of AI being a net negative. Whilst I think there definitely are great applications of AIs, like there's been applications in medicine and just you know making things get cheaper if we're able to do them more efficiently with AI. But I definitely think that the costs of what that's at the cost of is really growing rapidly. Um, I know that that there are a lot of concerns. For me, my biggest concern with kind of AI is just to do with, for me, it's like recommendations to algorithms and things. Like, obviously I'm a YouTube, I'm someone who posts YouTube videos, right? But even I absolutely hate the kind of YouTube. No, I don't think YouTube's too bad, but I think the recommendation algorithms are so like addictive, and you know they're easy to get really carried away with and waste a ton of time with, and they're not really something that I think are amazing. And I think that TikTok was kind of the TikTok and Shorts are kind of the pinnacle of that. Like, I think yeah, I personally really dislike them, and I think that using AI algorithms to to do this kind of thing is, I think it's a really big problem. Like, if you look at what people spend their time on in a given day, like, there are people who are spending like, you've got like huge amounts of screen time being used on scrolling through platforms or watching videos or short form content or whatever. And I think that that's already a massive consequence of AI. But there's all sorts of other problems with AI as well. Like, I think job loss is one that, again, in the past, like a couple of years ago, if you asked me, I'd be like, oh, it's probably not that bad. But I think it's definitely starting to be a problem. I know already that like graphic designers are getting laid off like left and right, because why pay a huge amount for a graphic designer when we can have graphics designed by an AI which can do, even if it doesn't do quite as good a job, if you've got a budget, people are always going to opt for that. So yeah, it's problematic. Let me recheck again. Is it not possible to turn slightly during a wheelie? Is that an action? That is an action. If you see on the actions, I don't know how clearly you can see it, but there's one called wheel R and one called wheel L, which allow you to wheelie and turn. However, the AI doesn't really like those actions because I punished it for using it a lot, because I didn't really want it to be doing it, because like in Mario Kart you lose quite a lot of speed like while turning in a wheelie. So yeah. What else? What's your favorite game that you haven't covered on this channel? Oh, favorite games for me is a complex topic. I played a ton of games like when I was younger. I don't play a whole lot of games now. Um, you know, doing a PhD does that too, sadly. Um, but yeah, I have a lot of games from the past. So I was really happy to do my Super Mario Galaxy video because Super Mario Galaxy was definitely one of my favorites. So really happy to do that one. I've mostly stuck with games. That was a bad turn. I've mostly stuck with games that are on the Wii, so I can use the Dolphin emulator to do them. But I would love to do games on other platforms as well. Like if there's a way I could get that set up, that would be great. But getting everything set up with Dolphin took me a really long time. Like, we're talking like months and months of development to get stuff going. so I'm not overly ready to just flip to something else unless I can get some help with it. Um, but yeah, I'd love to do them for other things. But as for what's the question? Other games that I enjoy that I haven't done. Um, I'd love to do one on Super Smash Bros. I won't say it's one of my favorite games. I actually didn't play it too much when I was younger, but it's a video that I really want to do. I liked We Play and We Play Tanks. I think that would be a really cool video to do. Um, yeah. What other games? I'd love to do. Oh, there's one which. How do I say this without spoiling anything? One of my favorite games was. Sorry. One of my favorite games back in the day was Call of Duty. I played a lot of Call of Duty when I was younger. And I'd love to do, AI learning Call of Duty. And it is something I've looked into. I'm not going to give any more details than that because I'm kind of have already invested quite a lot of work into trying to get an AI to play Call of Duty in one form or another. And I'm hoping that will be a video at some point, so I don't want to spoil that. But yeah, Call of Duty would be great. I also considered trying to get it to play like a sports game, like maybe like FIFA. I'm from the UK, so FIFA is pretty much the biggest game we have here in terms of like sport games. But I'd love to see an AI try and play that. But every game has its unique challenges, to say the least. And I think FIFA and Call of Duty they are no different. Yeah. Do I think my AI could pass as a real player? Do I think it could trick people into thinking it's a human? I don't know. I mean, I'm playing as one of the AIs right now. So, if you've just joined the stream, I am indeed playing these aren't all controlled by AIs. I am one of them. Um, I'm sure if you look closely, you'll be able to figure that out in no time which one I'm playing as. But yeah. So I don't know. You tell me if you can tell which screen is me. Then I guess it doesn't class as a real player just yet. But if you can't tell, then I guess I've already done that. I just got to win, which gives away which one I was playing as. But yeah, I don't get wins very often. Yeah. Imagine an AI beating Dark Souls. I've never played Dark Souls, but I have a lot of friends who do and really like Dark Souls and have told me about it being incredibly difficult. But that would be from what I've seen of it, it would be a very cool game to play. Yeah. An AI that could convincingly play Call of Duty like a real player. I think I not. Oh, I don't. Maybe. I have. But like I said, I put some work into getting an AI to play Call of Duty already. It's hard to say. I don't think it would look like a. I think it would. It would be distinguishable from a human, but I definitely think it would be a. I definitely think it could be. It could be good. Like I said, don't want to talk too much about that because it's something I do want to do. Do I think I could get an AI to play? I don't know how to pronounce that. Taikoyuki Shogi? Is that the board game, like Shogi? Maybe. I don't know. I mostly work in so that my kind of area of study is image-based reinforcement learning. Or what's called model-free image-based reinforcement learning. So a lot of the AIs you've probably seen that have learned to play like chess or Go, and I mean it has been played for shogi. Like DeepMind made an AI which could play shogi, but a lot of them are using slightly different techniques, to say the least, from what I'm using for the Mario Kart AI. Partially because the input is so different, like using a screen rather than the position of the pieces. But you've also got other things like search, like AI methods which have done really well in board games, have commonly done quite well, somewhat due to their search capabilities. So just being able to go full kind of massive amounts of computation, and that helps a lot. But also it's just kind of a different area of there's a lot of differences basically, and I think if I give me a month to do it, and I probably could make an AI that could do decent at a game like shogi or chess, but it would take a fair bit of time, and I'm not too interested in doing them just because they've been done so much before, like Leela and Alpha Zero were both examples of, for example, chess, which are absolutely amazing to me. Alpha Zero was one of the things that got me really interested into AI and made me want to go into that field. I think they're absolutely amazing. So, yeah, that I just blew myself up. Yeah. Shogi is Japanese chess, and Takyushi shogi is the biggest version of shogi. It's a bit more complex than chess. Good to know. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. Potentially, I could, but like I said, it would be quite a big switch from what I'm doing here with the Mario Kart AI, to say the least. But potentially, I'd have to look into the rules and see what kind of challenges it presents. But there are AIs being used for some insane stuff. Like one of the ones that was the most insane to me is I don't know if anyone knows games like Risk and Diplomacy, where oftentimes, in Diplomacy at least, a big part of it is kind of negotiating with humans. But an AI has been made to play games like Diplomacy that I kind of thought would be kind of impossible, because can an AI negotiate with humans for the purpose of doing better than the humans? But from that research, the clear answer is yes. So yeah, I think that no matter what challenges that specific game has, I'm pretty sure if a good enough team puts their mind to it, I'm sure they could. As for me specifically, maybe I'd have to look into it, but yeah, it would take a fair bit of time. Yeah, with AIs learning to play games from teams like DeepMind, I'd love to see some more of their AI playing. They tend to just more as research than not educational, entertainment content. Which I guess is a good thing for me, being someone who tries to make videos about about AI playing game. It's kind of good that DeepMind aren't doing this, because I'm sure if DeepMind put an entire team and all their compute power towards making an AI, that probably wouldn't be good for me. But it would be great to see what they could make, though. Like even the things they have released it for, like the games like Go, where they've shown how good their AIs are. I think they're pretty mind blowing, to say the least, and I love watching them. Like personally, one of the games I did play quite a lot, and still I play it occasionally if I get time now, but was Starcraft 2. So yeah, I absolutely love playing Starcraft 2. And when DeepMind came out of Alpha Star, that just blew my mind. Like the fact that an AI can play Starcraft is, yeah, it's above and beyond what I thought was going to be possible for a long time. Yeah. Sadly, not in any reasonable amount of compute power, so it's not really possible for me to make an AI which can play Starcraft 2, even though the research is already out there. But it's very interesting though. Thank you for coming along, everyone. Thank you for everyone who's here. Hope you're enjoying me getting thrashed by my own creation, and enjoying my my opinion on AI commentary, on AI state of the world, I guess. I don't really know what to call this, but yeah, thank you for coming along, everyone. Yeah. As for Mario Kart Wii, you mentioned strategies like bagging. That kind of already happened in one of my previous videos. So in one of my earlier ones, it was bagging, but kind of for the wrong reasons. So I had the AI which would it was an AI trained on Delfino Square, and the AI would basically, like, when it got like a bullet, it would get like some huge rewards, because I made the reward function based on like the speed that the AI was going. So by getting like a bullet or a golden, it would just get a ridiculously large reward. So the AI did in that case just learn to bag. It would just kind of stop and try and drop itself into a low position so that it could get a good item, which it wasn't what I was intending, but I thought it was really cool. I was kind of happy that it happened. But yeah. But the main reason why the AIs I make don't go for like bagging playstyles is just because most of the time they get terminated if they stop, basically. So for example, when this AI was trained, if it gets I was quite lenient with this AI, but if for example, if it just went off-road and drove into a wall for a while, it would get terminated and, the whole thing would get restarted. Because if I don't do that, the training just takes a crazy long amount of time. Like, the AIs take a really long time to learn. Yeah. Which is not ideal. So that's why they can't really bag with that limitation, because, if they just stop and stand still, they'll just get reset, so it kind of eliminates the chance of bagging. But maybe. One thing I could do is start it off so, for the first, like, million frames of training, it gets reset if it does something bad, but then after that it doesn't. And maybe that it could learn something like that. But I think at the moment, the reward function I give the AI is a little too focused on kind of the right now, if that makes sense. So it gets reward for, like, progressing around the track and going fast and things like that. It does get this AI was actually one of my first ones to get rewarded for the position it's in, so it does actually get rewarded for being in first, so that they do prefer being in first place to last. But obviously strategies like bagging are going to involve going very slowly for a while, which is going to have a negative reward. It's you're not going to be progressing for a while, so the reward is going to be further away, which makes it a little less likely for the AI to want to do it. And also just if the AI can kind of, for example, like bagging on lap 3, like in order to try and use an item to, get like a first place finish, it's only really going to work if what the AI cares about above all else is finishing first. Because one kind of, I guess, limitation of these AIs is they're not solely focused on getting first. Like, if they have a horrible race and then get an item and manage to grab a first place, they don't necessarily get more reward for doing that than just driving a solid race and coming second. So that's kind of one limitation of it, which is yeah. So their ultimate goal isn't necessarily to come first. It's just to drive. Well, they do get rewarded for coming first, but ultimately what they want is to make good steady progress, I guess, rather than just finishing in first. So I guess bagging has a bit of an issue with that. Potentially it's something that I could have a go at, so trying to start the rewards off with all the rewards that are progressing around the track and all the rewards I'm currently using, and then kind of get rid of them over time and have the reward function become more and more focused on just being in first and most importantly finishing in first. And potentially that could get us some play which results in the AI doing a strategy like bagging, but it would be complicated. I'd be curious, even if I set up the reward in that way, if the AI would learn to bag or anything like that. Yeah. Let me have a look at the chat. I'm gonna hang back. You love seeing me get crushed. Yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about it personally. Like, on the one hand, I'm happy my AI is doing well, but on the other hand, there's a big part of me that spent a long time playing Mario Kart Wii and would very much enjoy not getting crushed. So yeah, it's mixed feelings for me, to be honest. But I guess I'm happy it's doing well. Yeah. Diddy Kong Racing AI. I've never played it myself, which is why I haven't really looked into it. So for a lot of the games I have picked, they're the games that I've played myself, because having knowledge of the game is actually really useful when kind of making the game. like making an AI to play it, because in terms of like rewards and things like that, like like getting an AI to play Mario Kart, like knowing what's important and what's not is a really, is a really big part of it. So I find it really challenging to make AI for games that I haven't played myself. Um, if anyone here is like anyone here or anyone knows like someone who's really good at like, Diddy Kong Racing or whatever, um, potentially, I could work with them and figure it out. But yeah, it takes a fair bit of time to do so. But I would like to branch out into some other games, including games I haven't played. But obviously, I'm a little biased towards the ones I have played. Like, there's nothing like spending hundreds of hours playing, or hundreds or thousands of hours of time playing a game and then making an AI to beat you at it, which is, what I'm doing right now. Um, after spending a childhood full of playing Mario Kart Wii, I never quite thought I would be live streaming my creation crushing me. So it's a little strange. Yeah. Yeah. TAS Robbery Bob 2. I am not familiar with that game. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of games I think would be really interesting to get an AI to play. Like, I definitely have no shortage of ideas for games I'd want an AI to play, but obviously I've stuck with Mario Kart for multiple reasons. One, because my knowledge of Mario Kart and the memory and things like that is definitely best in Mario Kart compared to a lot of other Wii games. Um, and also, I just find that the Mario Kart Wii is quite a task which hands itself a bit more naturally to reinforcement learning than a lot of other games, especially since the reward function is what I've got experience right in the reward functions for Mario Kart Wii. Um, but also, yeah, the task itself just lends itself to, go around the track, get first is better. Whereas in other games, like, for example, a game like Call of Duty, for example, or imagine, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with like Call of Duty Zombies, but, imagine writing a reward function for a game like that where, there's a lot of kind of long-term strategic decisions you have to make. Um, so yeah, it's really challenging to write it for a lot of games. And games like, if you take a game like FIFA, right? So if anyone here doesn't know what FIFA is, it's just like football. I'm from the UK, so soccer to you if you're American, I guess. Um, but yeah, so for a game like that, whilst I think I could get an AI to play it if I put enough time and effort into it, the reward function would be really hard to write because when do I reward the AI? Like, obviously, I'm going to reward it for scoring a goal, but how long is it going to take before it's able to score a goal? If it takes a long time. And there's some other tricks you could do. I think I'm going to get first place. There we go. That's how it's done. But yeah, in a game like FIFA, you'd have to do lots of little tricks, like obviously losing the ball, you're going to get a negative reward. Managing to tackle your opponent positive, fouling. There's lots of little tricks you can use to make it a bit better. But all in all, it's a difficult task. And how do you show it which end it should be going for? Like, do you just reward it for going higher up the field? Do I reward? But in that case, is going up higher up the field always the best thing to do? Probably not. So what did I just get hit by? I didn't even see. Was that a bomb? I'm not sure. Rosalina's miles ahead. But yeah, so yeah, that's just kind of the thought process I guess I go through when trying to make an AI play a new game. Is just, how am I going to write the reward function? How can I give the AI enough information to the point where it's going to be able to learn in a decent amount of time? Yeah. I think I could get an AI to play Gran Turismo for sure, because it's like, it's kind of a similar style to Mario Kart in the fact that it's a racing game, so the reward function's pretty clearly cut out. But you know, I guess the only reason I haven't is just time, really. I did a video on Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, so you know that was kind of applying the same ideas to another game. Uh, I actually really liked my video on Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, but the video got like no views. I don't know if that's just because my channel has become rather biased towards people who like Mario Kart, and maybe there's not a lot of overlap with people who liked Hot Pursuit, or maybe just not a lot of people played Hot Pursuit on Wii, but or Need for Speed games in general. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think that it's not too difficult to apply reinforcement learning to most racing games, just because, like I said, that reward function is just more obvious than in a lot of other cases. Considered making an AI learn 2 games at once with a single input. Not really. And in fact, that's something that I think a lot of reinforcement learning methods kind of struggle with, to be honest. Like, even getting an AI to learn multiple tracks, you see, like, degradation of performance. So if I get an AI to learn this and, like, Luigi Circuit at the same time, whilst, I've in previous videos, I've gotten AIs to manage to, to play multiple tracks at once, all controlled by the same AI. But a lot of the time there is, it can do better if it just learns to play one game. So, from my perspective, it's just, I just get it to play, just stick to one game at a time, really. That seems to be easier. I'd love to do other Mario Kart installments, like Double Dash and other stuff like that. The only reason I haven't is just because I have all my codes set up on the emulator, so on Dolphin emulator, which is a Mario Kart Wii emulator. So yeah, just getting all that code reset up. There's a lot of work that goes into getting the emulator set up. So for example, I need the AI to be able to read from the screen. So I need a way of getting the kind of pixel information. And while there are some naive methods of doing that, like using screen capture software, that doesn't allow me to easily like parallelize it. So when training this AI, I wasn't just running a single instance of the emulator. I was running 4 instances at once. And if you're using screen capture software, that's not easy. Also, if I use screen capture software, that typically renders my computer kind of obsolete whilst I'm doing it. Whereas I can, whilst I'm training the AIs with the setup I currently have, I can actually use my computer while I'm doing it, which is really nice to not have to lend my computer exclusively to an AI. But yeah, if I'm able to get, if anyone here knows some people from who know a lot about emulators for other Mario Kart games, like Mario Kart 64 or Mario Kart Double Dash or whatever, like if you work on on emulators for those consoles, like send me an email or something, give me a comment or whatever, because yeah, I'd love to do it, but it's just I need someone to set it up for me, because a lot of the emulators are written in like C++ or C or whatever, and I can write in C++, but I'm not particularly good at it. But also just, that's not really what I do. Like, I'm not overly proficient in setting up emulators and things like that. I'm just a guy who writes AI code. But if anyone else is able to do part of the setup for me, I was looking like I might do decent there, and I got 4th. But yeah, if there's anyone who is able to help me out with that, that would be I would potentially look at doing other platforms as well, especially if they're able to do it efficiently. Like one of the big problems I have normally is getting it to run quickly. Like, it's one thing to get an AI interacting. It's very difficult to get the AI interacting with, for example, the Wii emulator. But getting it to run like fast so that I can actually churn out enough frames to train an AI is always challenging. Have I heard of Oh, Double Dash is on Dolphin? Is it? I actually googled that a while ago. I looked into it and I couldn't tell how to do it. I don't know if it's available through like the fork I'm using. So I'm using like a fork of Dolphin emulator in order to run this. And I don't know what like the functionality extends to. Yeah. Have I had a Formula Kart Wii? Yes, I watched a couple of videos of Troy, like TWD98, playing it. It looked very cool. I think that's yeah. But I haven't played it myself, or I don't know a huge amount about it, but it looks pretty fun. Looks pretty crazy. Could get it, if I can get the mod loaded, it probably wouldn't be too difficult. Like I think that doing like a CTGP, like with custom tracks and things for Mario Kart, I think I could get an AI to do that. Like I'm effectively using a mod right now to get the skin for the AI on the top left. So adding other mods in probably not any trouble. So I probably could get an AI to play on a custom track, which is something I might look at doing in the future. I think that'll be a really cool video. Getting it to learn a track like Mushroom Peaks or something, I think would be really interesting. Yeah. This has been a disaster of a race. I am... Okay, I got fifth. Maybe I'll look into doing a video on Double Dash. I guess part of the reason I haven't done it I haven't, fully committed to doing it is as well because earlier on, I kind of mentioned it's easier to do ones for games I've played myself. I actually haven't played Double Dash before. When I was younger, I played, kind of when I was, when I was younger and playing lots of Mario Kart. Mario Kart Wii was kind of the new thing, so that was what I played. I played a little bit of Mario Kart 64 because on the Wii, I know you could download like old games on it using like the Wii shopping channel, if anyone remembers that. And I downloaded Mario Kart 64 and played a bunch of that. Yeah, so that was really cool. So I could do that one, but yeah, I know nothing about Double Dash personally. To be fair, I don't know a whole lot about Mario Kart 64. I didn't play it anywhere near as much as I played Mario Kart Wii. So I'd still probably be pretty bad at it, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, if Double Dash is usable on Dolphin emulator and the fork I'm currently using works, then yeah, it'll be something I can definitely look into. I'll have to do some digging, have to scrape some memory values for Mario Kart Double Dash. Yeah. I think custom tracks is one that I really do want to do. I think that custom tracks would be awesome. I think that AI learns Mushroom Peaks would be a great video. Be very interested to see if an AI can learn a track like that with all of its difficulties. Which AI training library am I using? Like TensorFlow? I'm using PyTorch. Yeah. To be honest, not a lot of people in reinforcement learning I know use TensorFlow anymore. Whilst it was reasonably popular for a while, the main two in RL are PyTorch and JAX. So, yeah. PyTorch... I personally really love PyTorch as an AI framework because it's really easy to use. In terms of like making neural networks and stuff, like PyTorch is just... To me, at least, it's just so easy to go from like an idea to an implementation. So I absolutely love it. Jax is a little faster, which is kind of the benefit of using that. But yeah, the ease of use is great for me. So PyTorch it is. Yeah. Yeah. Double Dash is installed via a patch. What you can install. Sorry, every time I try and look at the chat, I always end up crashing. I'm not used to playing and reading chat at the same time. It's very difficult. Let me answer that one. Is training GPU intensive? Yes, it is. I have an RTX 4090, and it still churns loudly. But yeah. Yeah, if Double Dash and things are installed via a patcher and it doesn't change anything within uh, Dolphin, then yeah, I can look at setting it up at some point. Just find the time, I guess. Yeah. I'm in first. It feels kind of unusual. I feel like I'm not in first as much as I'd like to be against these AIs. Feels very different to playing against the inbuilt AIs where you just get to front run all day, but it's certainly not the case here. Yeah, I've just gone off road because I was reading chat. Double Dash is a ROM on itself. I'll have to try and find the ROM for Dolphin. Formula Kart Wii is installed via patch. Yeah, the ones that are done via patch, like Formula Kart Wii or CTGP, definitely I think are doable and shouldn't be any trouble whatsoever. But yeah, Double Dash as well. If I put some time into it, probably fine. After training is running as GPU as intensive? Interesting question. No is the answer. The kind of a cool thing about reinforcement learning agents in general is once they've been trained, they're actually pretty light to use. So like what I'm doing right now, where the AIs aren't currently training, so they've already been trained. When they were training before, Dry Bowser was controlled by an AI as well. But I just hijacked Dry Bowser and have been playing in place of him. But yeah, reinforcement learning agents, once they've been trained, deploying them, they're honestly not that GPU intensive. I don't know what like utilization my like computer is sitting at right now, but yeah, pretty lightweight to be honest. Yeah. CTGP though, they don't allow Dolphin users, so you have to know another method to play custom tracks. Can you not do CTGP on Dolphin? I thought you could. I don't know. I need to just look into it. But if anyone knows the answer, be sure to let me know. Can I get another win? I don't know how many wins I've had. I should have put a counter on screen or something. I think I've had 3 or maybe 4 wins throughout the... How long have I been streaming? An hour and 26 minutes. 4 wins. Do we think... Is that a good success rate? Probably not. But, yeah. Got some... I don't know if that's my poor Mario Kart Wii score, if my AIs... I think it's definitely in part due to the AIs just being a bit better than me. But, yeah. I've just driven straight off road because I was looking at chat again. This is difficult. Might need some more practice. Yeah. But anyway, I think I'm gonna call the stream there in a minute. Just because I'm hungry and I want to go and grab some food. I need to get on with some work as well. So yeah, I'm gonna head off fairly soon. I'll finish this race. Where do we think I can get to? We're in third. Oh, Rosalina and the Super AI have a massive break, so not too hopeful, but never say never. Okay, we got a mushroom. I'm just gonna swap it. I'm playing as Dry Bowser, and I will not be winning this race. I just mushroomed into a wall. It's a disaster. Okay. Well, that's 10th place. Yeah, thank you. I'm very grateful to anyone who could come along and enjoy the stream. I hope it was fun getting to ask some questions to me. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along. Hope you enjoyed getting a little sneak peek of the next video. But yeah, I'll probably check out Double Dash and maybe some patches to do some custom tracks or something. There's a lot of ideas I have for videos, so you know, I'll definitely still be working on it. So yeah, I hope to make some good videos soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thank you all for coming. Goodbye.